Hi, everyone. It's Chad with Engage Vacations here for another travel chat. And I'm honored to have a special guest today from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. Last month I was in Mexico and I was at a French restaurant and I mispronounced everything on the menu that was French. And I'm from South Louisiana, so I should do better. So I'm just going to introduce you as Laurie Bohn, and I'll let you say your full last name pronounced correctly.
I love it, Chad. Thanks. And hi, everybody. So happy to be here. It's actually Izur, and it took me 2 years to learn how to say it right. So, Chad, not getting it right tonight or not wanting to tackle it, totally understandable.
There's some video coming on our YouTube channel that is me going through a full menu at a restaurant LeBlanc in Mexico, and the first thought was this would be like a guide through the menu, and we quickly realized that I am ill-equipped and qualified to do any kind of food guide except for I can eat. I mean, people look at me, I can eat, and so we turned it into more of like a parody. And so, but I didn't want to make a parody of your last name, so I like I said, leave that one up to you. So we're so excited to have you on. We've been doing these for a few weeks now. We've had hotels and cruise lines on. And one of our biggest partners in the travel industry, some of our favorite vacation memories personally, and such a loyal following with many of our clients is Royal Caribbean. So wanted to have you guys on as soon as we could. And the point tonight for everyone watching is mainly to talk about all of the good stuff coming when we're back to sailing. I'm sure people will have questions that they'll submit. And some of the things maybe we don't know quite yet. Working on it, and there's amazing, innovative people at Royal Caribbean and all of our cruise line partners that are working on the solutions to make cruising as safe as possible when it resumes, hopefully in the near future. But we're going to focus a lot on many of the positives that make cruising such a great vacation. So if you just want to talk a little bit about what people can expect, not from a health and safety protocol, because that stuff's coming, but just from a wonderful vacation experience when they step foot on one of your beautiful ships.
Gosh, well, I'll tell you, Chad, it's so much fun at Royal Caribbean because we're energy, we're excitement, we're adventure, we're great for families, but we're also great for those couples that just want to go and have a really engaging experience. If ships themselves are your thing, oh my gosh, we build the biggest and most creative ships. I mean, we've been awarded best ships at sea, but really truly some amazing ships. If destinations are what your focus is, we cover 6 of the 7 continents. We have 26 ships to take you around the world, and so we can cover the globe. But what I also love is we have a lot of close to home sailings, whether you're in Texas, which I know for you is great, whether you're in Florida, Seattle, and then up in Alaska and Canada with Vancouver. In the Northeast, we have, of course, Bayonne, which is the seaport in Jersey for New York and the New York area. So we have so many U.S. ports covered, great for drive markets. And I don't know, for me, my favorite part of ships is the fact that you pack and unpack once. You get this amazing experience on board with really high-end service and great choices for food. I too like to eat a lot, probably a little too much. But it's also more than that. It's the adventure of it all. It's the activities on board the ship. It's the meeting people. I don't know. I'm a little addicted to cruising. It has nothing to do with the I work for Royal. I think you can probably tell.
Yeah, I went on my first cruise. So I was late in the game for cruising. I had more of an all-inclusive resort background for personal travel and what I was initially booking when I started working in travel in 2011. And it was 2013 is when I got on my first cruise, and I can't get enough of it. I still love the other experiences that we book and plan for people and go on personally, but I'm the kind of person that when I get on board, whether it's on my app or the screens by the elevators or the thing they give you in your room, the daily activity planner, I'm trying to check off as many of those things as I can every day. And what's great is, so my wife, Teresa, who many of you know, is also my business partner. When she's on a cruise, her goal is to find the solarium and get a book and spend the entire day there and then have amazing food at night. and just relax the whole day. And then we're still in one, contained place where I can go do all these things and, do trivia and shoot baskets and do whatever. And she can relax. And at night we can, have dinner together and go to a show. Maybe talk a little bit about especially on the Oasis class ships and the Quantum class ships, the level of entertainment that people can expect at night in those shows, those Broadway caliber shows.
Well, it's amazing that you bring up our entertainment, because entertainment is such a part of who and what we are. In fact, we've been voted best entertainment at sea for a number of years running. And you mentioned Broadway shows. These are not vignettes. These are full Broadway productions. We've got Grease on the Harmony of the Seas. We have Hairspray on, of course, our newest ship, the Symphony of the Seas. But Oasis of the Seas has Cats, and Mamma Mia is on Allure of the Seas. So all of our Oasis class ships have full Broadway productions. We actually, even on some of our Quantum class ships, we have We Will Rock You, which of course is the tribute to Queen, and the shows just go on from there. But we also have this really cool thing on our Oasis class ships, which are the biggest ships in the world. We have a thing called the Aqua Theater, and it's in the back of the ship. And for those of you who have sailed on Royal, you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you who have yet to try it, you're gonna need to, because there's nothing at sea like it. It's called the Aqua Theater, and it's actually a pool that isn't super deep. It's about, I believe, 20 feet deep, but it is actually a pool where the stage actually comes up and down out of the pool. If you've ever seen in Vegas, Bellagio, it kind of reminds me, some of the things you'll see are reminiscent. I think the show itself is even more creative, but I'm biased. But anyway, there's divers diving from high platforms. There are people coming in on wires above you. So the show is on the water, on the stage, up diving platforms, coming in and out of over you in the audience on wires. It's amazing. And it's an open theater, amphitheater in the back of the ship. And one of my favorite things, a little like secret tip when you're on an Oasis class ship, I like to grab a margarita or maybe a glass of champagne and go watch them rehearse for the actual shows in the Aqua Theater. Because when you watch them rehearse, these are incredible athletes that they're diving, they're doing gymnastics and acrobats, and it's just so cool to see. The shows themselves are marvelous, but man, just to watch them rehearse, a great little fun tip that, maybe you wouldn't know to do unless you hear it from me, but try it. You will love it.
Yeah, one of the things I love to do or go see is the ice skating shows. And on many of the ships, starting with the Voyager class and up from there, they have the ice skating rings, right? Is Voyager class or Freedom class started that?
I believe the Voyager class started that, because Voyager class was kind of this whole new era of cruising with the big promenade area, the indoor promenade, the ice skating. We call it Studio B. And what I love, Chad, is we have the ice skating shows, but you can also actually go ice skating. It's like super cool at sea.
You mentioned the athletes. When they kind of go through the cast of some of those ice skating shows, and just like, these are not just some guy off the side of the street that can ice skate a little bit. These are like world-class ice skaters. And and I didn't ice skate on the last time I was on a ship that had one. My kids did and loved it. And the ships are big enough now with the stabilizers. You don't get the motion like you used to do, or you do on the smaller ships without stabilizers. But still, it's just impressive to me, just the idea of pulling off like a double axle or whatever those moves are called while the ship is sailing. They don't do these shows when the ship's at port. They're on the ocean, in the sea, and doing that. I just think that's a really cool thing.
Can I tell your listeners something that's kind of really cool that they may not even realize about the ice skating shows? On the newest ship, on Symphony, they actually have something new that they've added in, and they've actually got drones, and the drones dance with the ice skaters. And I mean, it is the coolest thing. So again, y'all get on our ships as soon as we're back at sea and check it out for yourselves.
Yeah. So Engaged Vacations, or the family behind it, the Shields Family 5, are going to be on Symphony of the Seas next July on July 10th. So if anyone is interested in coming with us, when we go, we're on vacation, but we're also there to be kind of your guide through the experience, not only in the planning stages, but also we'll meet up a few times during the sailing, see how things are going, take care of your needs. And so I'm there to be with my kids and to be with Teresa, but also to take care of those groups. And, we'll do these meetups and have a ton of fun. My personality comes out even better when I've had a few drinks in me and I'm on a ship and I'm in my element. So people that have traveled with me usually think it's a pretty fun time. So if anyone wants to see the ice skaters with the drones or the Abyss, which is the largest slide, it's a dry slide. It goes from something like deck 15 or 16 all the way down to 8, right? Is it 8?
Well, to be exact, good. I'm impressed, Chad. You know your stuff. Good thing you're keeping me on my toes, but I'm keeping up with you, so we're good. It's from deck 16 all the way down to deck 6, and it ends up in the boardwalk area. So in less than 13 seconds. It's nuts.
Yes. So we could do that. There's 2 flow riders on that ship, and one thing that I get from people a lot is I don't think I'd like the big ships, the biggest ships. The Oasis class just seems too big. And I'll tell you from my experience, and you can share yours, that the way that ship is divided up into what they call neighborhoods. So you have the promenade that was mentioned about the Voyager class. They still have that on the Oasis class ships, including Symphony. And in there they have the robotic bar. They have a bar that goes from one of the lower decks up to deck 8 in Central Park. So Central Park with its trees and wine bar and Cagney Steakhouse is an amazing open air, but with vegetation. So you look like you're walking through a city park. The boardwalk, as you mentioned, with the merry-go-round and the bottom of the Abyss slide and the bottom of the Aqua Theater. And then up on you have the Lido deck and a huge solarium for adults only. So all that to say, they divide up where the people are so well that when I've been on that class of ship, I never felt like, oh my gosh, there's this many, however many people are on there, and never felt that crowded. I've been on much smaller ships that felt significantly more crowded. So I think it's genius the way that they divided that ship up.
Chad, I am so impressed. You really, really know our ships. I love that. I think that's great. So I don't know about you, but what's your favorite place on an Oasis class ship? Do you have a favorite neighborhood?
I'm still pretty much a promenade guy. My first Royal Caribbean ship was Adventure of the Seas out of San Juan. I love the sailings out of San Juan because in a 7-night cruise, you can go to you have 5 or 6 stops. I'm sorry, 4 or 5 stops in one sea day. And so you're in a different amazing beach every night. And on that one, it doesn't have the neighborhoods, but it was my first experience in a promenade kind of area. I would go to the little pub they have and hang out there. So then that got bigger when I went on Liberty of the Seas. And then I got bigger again when I went on Harmony of the Seas was my first Oasis class ship. And love just the whole area, the robotic bar now. It's my favorite spot to be. So I still like the promenade.
I love the promenade. I like the variety that you find in there. Like for me, because I like to eat, Sorrento's Pizza is in there right across from the pub. And I always like to sneak pizza in between meals. And I'm like, okay, that's probably not a good idea because I eat so much at my meals anyway, but I can't help it. And of course, I love that Starbucks in most of the Oasis class ships is in that promenade area. So I'm always grabbing my coffee in the morning. There's a little shopping. I like the shopping in there. But one of my favorite places, especially before dinner, I actually like Central Park. And you said there's a lot of the foliage and greenery. I believe it's something like over 20,000 plants, and their live plants are in that area. And it is open. It's hard to explain an Oasis class ship, Chad. Don't you agree if you haven't been on? Because there's balconies that face inward and it's open to the sky, but you don't see the sea from Central Park or the boardwalk until you get to the back. But I like Central Park. I like the feeling. They always have kind of like mellow, kind of cool music playing softly there with live musicians playing. And I like vintages because I like a little glass of wine or champagne myself, especially before dinner. So I think your wife and I would get along well on a cruise because I like chilling and hanging all day. And then I like to have a nice dinner. And my husband, Laurent, would probably enjoy the adventure that you enjoy, being busy all day. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the excuse me, one of the great features of the Oasis class ships going out of Florida are ports of call, and want to talk a little bit about one that's the name just tells you how awesome it is. Perfect Day at CoCo Cay, and some people say CoCo Cay, but whatever you want to say, it's amazing. So that port of call, which is just for Royal Caribbean, has been enhanced recently with the water park and overwater cabanas and things of that nature. So tell me a little, or tell our audience a little bit about CoCo Cay and what they can expect in a day there, no matter what their interests are, relaxation or adrenaline adventure.
Oh my gosh. Well, CoCo Cay, it really is a perfect day. And I don't know, can you all see my shirt and see my logo? But I have my Perfect Day at CoCo Cay shirt on. And of course, I'm ready to sail safely with my face mask. But no, CoCo Cay is amazing. It is our own private island, so no other cruise line, nobody else can visit. We just really upgraded it and added a pier. So now instead of having to tender, which many private islands require, you pull right up on the pier. The ship is parked. We can have up to 2 ships at one time. And you get off. And what's great about the island is whether it's thrills you're looking for or chills, you really can find that perfect spot. And the thrills are Daredevil's Peak and the water park. And the water park has water slides, including the tallest water slide in North America, 145 feet into the air. It's Daredevil's Peak. And when you when you see a picture of Perfect Day, you always see kind of this crazy monstrosity. That's Daredevil's Peak. There's the largest wave pool in the Caribbean, the largest freshwater pool in the Caribbean. And I love this pool. It's called Oasis Lagoon. It has bridges built over it because it's that big. And there's actually kind of a beach entry on one side of the pool, which tends to attract more families. But then there's a whole other side of the pool that you don't even see the one side from the other, that has a bar where there's seating in the pool. You can order your drinks right in the pool. Or if you don't want to get wet, the other side of the bar is actually where you can sit down and have drinks on the dry side, on the land side. Oh, nice. There's lounges and chairs all around, but that doesn't even begin to talk about the beaches all the way around, and water sports and scuba diving. And then we have a brand new CoCo Beach Club that just opened on January 31st as a new part of CoCo Cay. And the beach club has 20 floating cabanas, the only floating cabanas in the Bahamas that can be rented but for the day. These cabanas have slides that go into the ocean. They have an overwater hammock. They have a covered shaded area, but also seating that you can have out on your deck in the sun. Outlets to plug your phones in, coolers, bar service. It's absolutely phenomenal. And if you don't need to be over the water, we have 10 on the beach that overlook the ocean. And then it also has a very nice upgraded upscale restaurant. So you do have to actually enter into CoCo Beach Club, and there is a small fee. But if you want an exclusive experience in CoCo Cay, that is something that you can do. Or you can just run around on the beach, have a great time, and play and enjoy the wave pools or the swimming pool or the beaches, really whatever you want. Something for everybody on CoCo Cay.
And that sailing we have on Symphony next summer does feature CoCo Cay. Goes to, I believe the other 2 stops are St. Thomas and St. Martin. So I do like that. No matter what your abilities are, you can get off the ship. You know, it's not, none of those ports are tender ports. And so I do love that for a Bahamas private island, having that pier, I think is just a huge enhancement. Another common itinerary with the Florida ships on that go to CoCo Cay also go into Labadee and Haiti, which is kind of a exclusive beach area there for Royal Caribbean, also with the pier, and then goes on to St. Thomas and San Juan. So, even leaving from Florida, although I love the San Juan cruises that get really far south from Florida, you can hit the Perfect Day CoCo Cay island, and then 2 to 3 other amazing stops in the Caribbean. So not to say that, I don't love where you can go from Galveston. We're in Texas. So a lot of our clients have done those Western, Caribbean itineraries. And so a good next option is, especially if it's in the next year, see a lot of great flight rates to get to South Florida or to Orlando and try out an Oasis class ship to enhance your experience. Going to it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, what's really cool, and you brought it to light so beautifully. There's choices. If you don't really feel like flying, you can drive down to Galveston, and you've got it made with Liberty of the Seas. Is an awesome ship. But if you want to either road trip or fly, you've got so many choices out of Florida. So I love that you can do whatever is comfortable and whatever is convenient for you. So it's really pretty cool.
And what's great for first-time cruisers or want to just barely dip their toe in and see if they like it is they're bringing even Adventure of the Seas to Galveston for some sailings. They're shorter in nature. A lot of the sailings on Adventure are shorter. And on some cruise lines, that shorter itinerary isn't always with a ship that's been enhanced or gives you a good feeling of what it'll be like on the newest ships. And Royal Caribbean has done a great job. I think it's one of the smartest things you guys have done is enhance the short sailing ships so people get a true feeling of what it's like if they do a longer one, a 7-night or even longer than that sailing, and not just, okay, this is the ship from 20 years ago that we haven't done much with, and this is what cruising is about. And I think that was really smart, and I hope that people take advantage as we start sailing later in the year or into the beginning of next year. Those short sailings out of Galveston too, to get a feeling, and then get addicted like we are, and then go on to the other ships. But speaking of flying to a destination, and for most of my clientele, this would be a flight. I'm really excited about what you guys are doing in Seattle, going to Alaska as well. So now there's not just one, but 2 Quantum class ships there. Ovation was there, was scheduled there for this season. We'll be back for next season. And then we'll have Quantum of the Seas coming from Asia to go and do some different itineraries than what Ovation does, slight variations. And so tell us a little bit about the Alaska program and specifically those 2 Quantum class ships that are a highlight of Seattle, Alaska season.
Well, gosh, I love Alaska. It's such a great destination, and I love it whether you've just never been, whether you're a family and you want something a little unique and different that isn't beach related, but more like hiking and outdoorsy and lake. It's very enriching and very wildlife centric. I think Seattle, I used to live in Seattle, so I'm a little bit biased, but I think Seattle is a great port city to start in or out of. Tons of history and tons of things to see right in Seattle, and easy to get to. Tons of great airlift. And we have, of course, the Quantum and the Ovation, as you shared, and they'll both be sailing out of Seattle round trip next summer. And the itineraries are good. AC Strait, there's a lot of Juneau, there's Sitka. A couple of the itineraries have Ketchikan. If you want to leave on a Friday, of course, you'll be on the Ovation. And if you want to leave on Monday, you'll be on the Quantum. So you've got some great choices, and it really lends itself to that pre or post few days in Seattle. So I think it's a great itinerary. Believe it or not, one of my favorite ports of call that both of those ships will visit is Victoria, British Columbia. And if you've never been to Victoria, it's this quaint town. It's just breathtaking. And Busch Art Gardens is there, and great eating, and they have a great district, international district. There's just a lot to see and do. And usually that one-day visit is not enough time for most of our guests. But great itineraries, convenient out of Seattle, 2 of our coolest ships. And one thing that your listeners may not know, Chad, but the Quantum class ships are actually purpose-built for cooler weather sailing. There's a lot of indoor spaces and a lot of spaces where you can have beautiful views of the sea around you naturally in some really comfortable environments. And if you've got families, there is no better ship to pick than the Quantum or Ovation, because there's this thing called the Seaplex at the top of the ship. And it is this huge 2-story inside kind of sport arena, for lack of a better way of describing it. And it's got basketball, and it's got bumper cars, and it's got trapeze school, and it's got a DJ booth that swings out from the second level over the first open level, and they play music, and it's a really, really amazing space for the young and the young at heart to go and have a good time. And it's all indoors, but with windows all around. And the lounge, the 270 lounge in the back of the ship, is this beautiful entertainment venue with 2.5-story high windows from the back of the ship all the way around to the sides, hence 270. The view is 270 degrees and absolutely amazing. And you don't even have inside staterooms because you have virtual balconies. So even if you by a virtual balcony, you'll always see what's happening outside through huge floor to ceiling windows. So great ships for Alaska.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I do like that Victoria isn't just, again, checking something off the boxes. When you leave for those that don't know, when you leave from a U.S. port and come back to a U.S. port in a foreign registered ship, you have to stop at a foreign port. And Victoria, in some cases, is just that check in the box that we've gone to Canada. Now but you guys go there for a full day, so you can enjoy that port city and all it has to offer. I love those ship. That is one, and I say I love that ship. I love it from everything I've researched and viewed and feedback I've gotten. Haven't been on one yet, so I do have a goal. Even though I'm already on Symphony, next summer is also to get on Quantum or Ovation to experience Royal Caribbean's Alaska program. I went last year, and I won't mention who I went with. It was with someone else, but I absolutely fell in love. And I'm in Texas, and I'll tell all my Texas and Louisiana, and just most of my clientele are in this southeastern region. Going up to Seattle and then into Alaska in the summer is wonderful because you go from 100 degrees, like it has been most of this week, to 70s or 60s, or whatever. It depends on the time of the summer you go, but it's just like you can breathe again for a week, and I love it. So I did have a question come in that asked on the floating bungalows at CoCo Cay, do they have full bathrooms there, or do you have to go into like the beach area to if you need to use facilities?
That's a really good question. They have a freshwater shower, but close by in where the clubhouse area is, you do have to actually leave the floating cabana. They don't have private restrooms, but they do have showers and running water. So the restrooms are close by.
Sounds like that's nearby and convenient, so not much.
And beach club. So it's actually within the private beach club area.
Some of the some cruise lines, when they have like an area that they go to that's just for them, it's not a place they own, and so nothing transfers over into like your things that you have on board. They don't transfer, like even food. What do you bring with you from the ship as far as privileges when you go onto the island?
Such a great question. So if you have a beverage package with Royal Caribbean and you're on Perfect Day at CoCo Cay, that beverage package transfers from the ship onto the island. So whatever you have on the ship is what you have on the island. Your room card or your key card, or if you have the wristband with the RFD technology, that will work on the island just like it works on the ship. There are a handful of stands that do ask you to have different forms of cash payment, but anything as far as food, it's either complimentary or it's within the clubs where you've purchased the entry fee. And everything is sign and sail just like it is on board the ship. So it's super easy, and people really love that the beverage package transfers, because a lot of cruise lines, that doesn't always hold true.
Doesn't always hold true. You made an honest little mistake saying Odysssey instead of Ovation, and I'm sure it's because just like me, I'm so excited about that ship, and it leads into something that I wanted to bring up to my clients, and it may be my favorite Europe itinerary that's not like a month, that I've ever seen. It's on Odysssey. Odysssey is a new ship that's debuting next April, is when that's scheduled. And it's going to spend the summer season sailing out of Rome, and then we'll move to the U.S. later that year, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. She'll spend her summer in Rome, and then she'll come over. And as far as I understand today, it'll be out of Fort Lauderdale once she comes over to the U.S. And that'll be in the fall of 21.
And she's similar to Ovation and Quantum, but just bigger. It's kind of like a Quantum class ship, but with a little extra muscle, right?
Well, it's like a Quantum class ship on steroids. It's called an Ultra Quantum class, and we've never had an Ultra Quantum class ship in North America. There is one in Asia that's sailing, but we don't have one here. So yeah, so it's exciting. And sorry, yeah, I get Odysssey and Ovation. I know the difference in my head, but sorry.
It reminded me that I wanted to talk about it. So I'm actually really glad that you did that. So that's fine. And it also highlights, I mean, you guys have so many great ships. So keeping them straight, for me as a travel agent is sometimes a challenge, but I spend a lot of time getting that knowledge up. And I'm sure for you guys, it's, there's a lot of options, which is a good thing. I think options in travel is great. So if you fall in love with the cruise line, you could go on 10 years worth of vacations and not repeat much. There's so many ships and there's so many itineraries, but I'm going to share this itinerary with our audience because I sent this to one of my favorite clients. Shout out to Rebecca if she's watching. I sent this to her last week. And so it starts in Rome. It goes to Naples, but overnight. So it's there from 8 a.m. one day until 5 p.m. the next. And that's right on the Amalfi Coast. So if you've always dreamed to go on the Amalfi Coast and, we're worried, well, if I went on a cruise, I wouldn't be there long enough. That's 2 full days at the Amalfi Coast. Then you have a day at sea, and then you start hitting Greek Isles. You go to Santorini, Athens, Mykonos, Crete, and then another day at sea. I like a day at sea on the last full day of the cruise because a lot of times if you've had 3, 4, 5 days in a row in ports, you need that one day of enjoying the ship all day, relaxing, and just kind of, especially Rome, you want to stay in Rome for a few days after you finish the cruise. It recharges your body or your batteries, so you're ready to go to Rome and hit that hard. It's a 9-day cruise. I've seen it priced really, really well. And so if you were thinking of going to Europe this year and unfortunately that didn't work out and you're okay, what am I going to do for 2021? I can't think of a better way to see in or around Italy into Greece all in one trip. Most of the time, those are, 11, 12-day sailings, and you may not be able to add time on land before and after. You get a 9-day, add 2 days in Rome. That's a pretty much perfect European Mediterranean vacation.
Yep. We need a vacation do-over. We all pretty much missed our vacations this summer, not on cruise ships anyway. So next summer, I think we should be doing 2 cruises in the summertime, right? Why not?
I have that plan for sure. I travel more than the average person, but I have some of my top Royal Caribbean clients, Gail, if she's watching, Cindy, if she's watching, they have a couple of planned. They're doing Ovation. They had Ovation this summer. They're doing it next summer. They've got Vision on it's a smaller ship, but it's a longer sailing. And I know Gail with some families trying out the Adventure and a shorter Galveston sailing. So they are itching to get back to sea. And many of my loyal Royal Caribbean clients are as well. So we can't wait for that. One thing I wanted to bring up, and again, this is the maybe part of the program we don't have all the answers yet. Laurie doesn't have all the answers yet, but the answers are being worked on by some really smart people. Mm-hmm. And this week they announced that there is a new, as they call it, health panel with some very, very impressive names that are going to be leading the initiatives to, when sailing resumes, to have it as healthy and safe as possible, but where we can still have the fun that we expect when we go on a cruise. So I know you don't have all the answers on that yet. No one does, or no one that can share them does. But if you just talk a little bit about, what you're feeling, what you're hearing as far as those initiatives to make it the new normal being an improved normal. That's what I've been calling it a lot, the improved normal. So what have you heard and what can you share in regards to that?
I love it, Chad. And I it's funny. because our chairman, Mr. Richard Fain, says he doesn't like the idea of a new normal. He just likes the idea of a new world or a new way we're living, because it has been challenging. And I think it's the commitment that we have at Royal Caribbean is about coming back to sail safely, confidently, and making you all feel good about a decision on coming back to sail with us. And the commitment to a healthy return to service is everything. We won't do so until we know that that's what we can do. And so what happened, and it's really exciting, just yesterday we announced a blue ribbon panel of experts, and it's actually being led by two very high profile gentlemen. And one of them is Governor Michael Leavitt, and he is from Utah, but he served as the Secretary of Health and Human Services under the President Bush years ago. And then Scott Gottlieb is the president and fellow and a contributor or at AEI, which is an interesting place, but he is an CNBC contributor, and he's on the news almost every weekend. So these two are the heads of this panel. And then there's 7 additional persons that are there. And as I read through the bios, and we would need another hour to go through it, but they're all doctors and board directors and working with companies like Coca-Cola and Colgate-Palmolive, and done research for many years on different viruses, starting many years ago with HIV/AIDS, and have been involved in the medical viral business and industry for many years. They're all doctors, MDs, PhDs, MPHs, you name it. They've studied SARS, they've studied, as I look through, it's just amazing. They're some of the most powerful medical people in the business. And at the end of the day, they all have different specialties. And what we're doing is it's not one voice and one expert that's saying this is how to do it. It's a collaboration of all these true, when I say experts, it's beyond that. And if anybody wants to actually find out more information, you could actually even go Google the Royal Caribbean Blue Ribbon Panel of Experts, and you'll get all sorts of information. There's already many news articles. I think CNBC actually had our chairman of the board and our partnering cruise line on today. But I think what I want you to know, if nothing else, is we will be back. We will be back as soon as it's safe and we can confidently take you on a fabulous vacation experience with your family, with your friends, and with your loved ones. And we're not in a hurry to do that. We want to get it right and take our time and just really know that we can deliver what you all expect and deserve, which is an amazing vacation.
Yeah.
So
I have the utmost confidence that when everybody gives their sign-offs, all the people that are needed to do that, when that's done, that there won't be a safer, more well-reviewed, protocol enhanced vacation experience than going on a cruise. I always felt with the emphasis that was put on sanitation in the past, health and safety in the past, you can't, in the past you could always control every little thing, but there was so much emphasis on health and safety that I've never gotten sick on a cruise. I've had countless people go on them and haven't had people come back and give anything but positive reviews about the emphasis that's placed on health and safety on cruises. And I believe that will, again, like I said, an improved normal. So if Richard doesn't like new normal and you want to tell him about improved normal, he can borrow that from me. I haven't trademarked it or anything. So he's more than welcome to use that because he has a way bigger audience than I do. But I'm looking forward to the improved normal. I'm sure there's some things that will be temporary and there'll be some things that are done forever. And I think the things that are done forever and continually reviewed and enhanced will just make it an even better experience for everyone. So I'm telling my clients, be patient. Again, once everybody has their sign-offs and we're ready to go, I'll get on a ship as quick as I can to experience that and be able to relay that information to everyone. And encourage everyone to do the same when they feel right, when they're comfortable going. Just like with Mexico right now, we don't push people and say, you got to go now. It's time to go. And we don't really emphasize even some of the sales right now because we don't want to overly influence people off of the the price tag off the experience. And we had positive experience with that when it was deemed, good to go. And I will have even more confidence when cruising comes back. So.
You know what? It has to be right. And we're going to be there when you're ready, and we're going to be there safe, and we're going to provide an amazing vacation experience, which is what we've always done. And now we'll do it with a slightly enhanced or elevated experience, and certainly a little bit different than how we've known cruising from the past. So.
Yeah. Well, and I just mentioned not pressuring people with deals, and that's not my intent here, but I do want to share one of my favorite things I've ever seen when it comes to value in cruising. We talked about Alaska a little while ago, and on Quantum, there are times when Royal Caribbean will roll out a kids sale free, kids 12 and under, but those promotions are almost always when schools are in session, and so people that homeschool take great advantage of those. People that can take their kids out for a week take advantage of those. But I've seen it now on the Alaska program for Quantum next summer, and seen some of the best rates, not just on a family of four going in a balcony, but the suite program on Royal is unmatched. From the Star class, even including to the C class, the amenities and inclusions that you get. I'm going to rattle just a couple off real quick. On the Star class, if you go up to that level, and you're getting the internet included, you're getting the drink package included, you're getting specialty dining. If you want to go to specialty dining every night, you're getting that included, and you're getting the Royal Genie, which is, we used the term on steroids earlier. That's butler service on steroids, where they're anticipating your wants and desires and your delights, as opposed to just reacting to what you ask for. I've seen rates on those in the summer for Alaska like I've never seen. So now is the time to contact Engage Vacations to talk about Alaska for next summer, especially if you have kiddos 12 and under, and you want, it doesn't matter what level of room it is. If it's a sailing that qualifies for kids sail free, it could be the top level suite or an interior room, whatever meets your budget and your interests and all. You could take advantage of that. So now is a great time. I want to try and fill up this the Sea ship next summer.
I love it. And Chad, something else that's interesting, and you kind of alluded to it. When you buy the Royal Suite Class categories, there's so many extra things included. And sometimes if you broke out all those costs of what that would cost if you bought it a la carte, and then you consider the size of the room and all the amenities you get in the room, you have to kind of look at that, because it really isn't always as expensive as you might think. And the value for what you get and the experience that you get and the special treatment that you get with the Royal Genie and all the things included, it's definitely something to consider. And especially when we know this summer has been a little less active and a little less experiential. And so I think next summer is that summer to really make a special vacation, whether it's with your family, your loved ones, or some kind of combination therein, which in my mind is the best way to always travel. So I love family.
We're doing that with Spring Break 2022. So not 2021, but Spring Break 2022, we got a 2-bedroom Aqua Theater. So that's in the Star class. And there's 5 of us. The room can fit, I think it's up to 8. But there's 5 of us. Like in the name, 2 bedrooms. So the master bedroom, amazing. And then a full second bedroom, and then a full living room. And then we talked a little bit earlier about the Aqua Theater shows. So there's a huge wraparound deck where you can watch the Aqua Theater shows. There's binoculars out there. At least one of I think all of them have that. And so you can overlook the Aqua Theater shows. You have ocean views or boardwalk views and all of those things that I rattled off and more. I mean, there's a whole list on the Royal Caribbean website of what's included with a Star class, but we have that. And we booked another a family, and it's actually the adult kid and their girlfriend, and then the main couple. That's one of my best clients. They've done balconies their whole sailing career with me at least, and they wanted to try that out finally. And they're like, well, if we do 4 and we're all going to get the drink package anyway, and we're all going to want to go to specialty dining, let's try this out. And booking far enough out, you look far enough out right now, with sailings out into 2022, there's incredible value on those suite class. And you get the coastal kitchen, which is a specialty main kind of dining room area for those suite class guests. So now's the time, whether it's, if you're on a lower budget and you just want to go to Alaska for the first time and think you could afford it because you bring your kids, or you saved this year's vacation money and you want to roll it into next year and get that suite you've always dreamed about. It's a wonderful time to plan a cruise with Royal Caribbean and with Engage Vacations. So I so much appreciate you joining us tonight. Do you have any last words for the audience, just about travel outlook and what you're excited about, coming in the future?
I do. I actually do. I think, this is a time to talk to Chad, to dream about where you want to be, really look at things and look at the opportunities and look at the ships and consider things you may have never considered before, and make those plans. There's great value, to your point, Chad. And while we're not sailing today, we will be back. And I like to think we're going to be even more exciting and more innovative than we've always been, which is our nature and our reputation. So we're patiently awaiting, well, maybe a little impatiently some days, but we're patiently awaiting our return to service. When we come back, we cannot wait to welcome you, whether it's that short cruise and you drove to us, or whether you've flown a long distance to go and enjoy a European vacation or that dream trip to Alaska. Just treat yourself and give yourself what you deserve, and don't wait for tomorrow what you can do today. Make that plan, set that goal, get that cruise booked, and then you have all this time to look forward to it. And when you get there, like I said, we will welcome you with open arms and the most amazing cruise experience that is offered like none other. So we can't wait to have you on board.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. To my audience, Royal Caribbean is doing amazing things to get ready for us to sail. I continuously encourage my friends, family, and clients, do our part to get our numbers down, get this virus under control. There's a lot of people waiting. Wear your masks, socially distance, so that we can sooner rather than later be back on ships, be back, flying to Florida or Seattle or to Rome, and have these amazing vacation experiences sooner rather than later. So everybody do your part. Thank you, Laurie, for joining us, and to look into all the amazing options that Royal Caribbean has to offer for your next vacation, whether it's family or a couple's getaway. Contact Engage Vacations, and we'd love to help you out. Best way to reach me is just send me an email at chad@engagevacations.com, or call me directly at 512-922-3322, and we will get that planning started and get you on board Royal Caribbean as quickly as we can. Thanks again, Laurie, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.